I almost don't know where to start with it, but I feel like we should start with a post from Moby Hake on X, which was about the revenue for FSG in Liverpool. So this little piece here said, our revenue for this season is expected to be a record-breaking one, with estimates around £700 million. We also have no PSR financial rules or concerns on what we can spend. Now, it's always great to hear that the club are in a healthy financial position. It's always great to hear that we've got no PSR concerns. But it'd be greater to hear that we're spending some money, because this just makes it all the more galling. Now, to be fair to Moby, he wasn't trying to stick up for the owners. He was speaking a little bit down underneath his post about, you know, what's going on. Why is everybody frozen? So it's a mad one. And I don't know how you're all feeling about it, but I'm a little bit confused as to what on earth we are at. Reports suggest as well from James Pearce of The Athletic that Liverpool aren't going to be making that play for the young striker we spoke about, Stefanos Tsitsipas of Nuremberg, despite other reports saying the contrary. Genuinely just so much to try and figure out. So Corbyn said, my head says surely FSG have a plan, one plan to sell, lack of spending. My heart is angry and frustrated with these owners. I'm just disgusted with them. And I'm going to read you out something now that is a year old, let me say that up front, but it was posted on a Red Sox fan forum. And I took the time to read this earlier on, and I want to just run it past you. And it says, FSG will not be spending any significant money on the Red Sox roster anytime soon, and here's why. And the reason was, John W. Henry has a plan, a development plan, that is, Fenway Corners real estate development project is the primary focus for the next decade for FSG and John W. Henry with regard to the Red Sox. They go on to speak about how they're not going to really be investing in player contracts while they utilise that money and allow the era of dominance, I believe from, who was it in this article they said had the era of dominance? The Dodgers. And that then in the 2030s, when it was all developed, they were going to try and make the Red Sox great again. Now, this is coming from the Boston side. This is coming from Boston fans. This isn't me trying to have a little sly dig at John W. Henry. So, thoughts? Because I've said all the way through, these owners don't have the stomach to want to win for me. It's all about increasing the value of assets. Red Sox fans aren't very pleased about things at the minute. Liverpool fans aren't very pleased about things at the minute. And it looks like a club that's about to announce potentially record revenues of £700 million hasn't got the money or the will to go out and strengthen and buy players. You can read into that what you want, but again, I'm doubling down on it. They're cheap. They're despicable owners, in my opinion, with regards to spending in the transfer market. And it's not good enough, and it shouldn't be accepted. And now we're at a point where not only are we concerned about the transfers, of course, but now we're even more concerned that maybe they're just lowballing the boys on the contract offers. And maybe there never is an intention there to give them the deals or fair deals. Because you keep hearing the boys want to stay, at least for Virgil and Mohammed. But now we're seeing that, well, maybe the play is to lowball them, keep lowballing them, and let it go all the way through. And then they have to make a decision and they hope they compromise. I'm sick of them. I'm absolutely sick to death of them. But I wanted to see how you guys feel about it. And I wanted to read you out that little bit as well around what they're planning to do in Boston. Lucky Charm said, credit to Craig for calling out this this Bull FSG stuff. Look, I don't want to. Here's the thing, like, people just think I do this for an angle. I don't want to. But I'm also not swallowing what the journalists have been trying to tell us for many years, which is that the money is there and Liverpool and Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, whoever else are choosing not to spend it because the right players aren't available. It's bullshit. It's always been nonsense, and I've never believed it, and I'm never going to believe it, because they absolutely have the ability to spend money. They choose not to. And for me, they're putting stuff at risk at the club. They're putting legacy at risk for the manager, for the players. They're putting trophies in the bin. And now we could see players just walk away because they're annoyed about the whole situation, and they're getting lowballed. Who would you rather have other than FSG? I mean, you're literally going to ask me to start naming billionaires now. You know, it's not up to me to find an owner for the club. It's not my fucking job to go out there and survey billionaires around the world and find an owner. But what I can do is keep calling out the crap. So for me, look, let me give you a name off the top of my head. Let's say Steve Ballmer. There you go. There's a name off the top of my head. Have a little look up at him, and he seems to be very invested in the NBA team that he owns, and very invested in wanting to make them successful. Used to be part of Microsoft, I believe, as well. But that's just one name. But look, ultimately, I just don't know how anybody can defend these clowns anymore. I just don't know. Like, what are they doing to benefit fans that are defending them? I don't get it. It's a weird one for me. But look, I respect we all have differing opinions on it, but I just think the whole thing's embarrassing for them as owners. Danny LaRue said, I feel sorry for Arne. He has the chance to have such a good first season. Imagine what he could do with everyone backing him. I think we still have a great chance, mate. And I'm not trying to undermine our league title chances. You know my thoughts on them. I think we're in a good position. We definitely need to win this game against Brentford at the weekend now, though. It's starting to get a little bit tasty. So is there any guarantee Liverpool spend in the summer? If they don't, will supporters get together to kick them out? So why are we kicking the ball down to the summer already, Stevie boy? You know, we've got time now to act. I personally can't just sit here and let them sail through another window and, you know, put at risk the season. We're one injury to a defender away from catastrophe, in my opinion. And again, same with Ryan Gravenberch, an injury in that midfield, and I think we're up shit creek. So for me, mate, I can't just give them the benefit of the doubt and go, yeah, we'll be grand in the summer, because guess what? I don't believe they're going to do much in the summer either. Corbyn said, Liverpool are the kings of watching the situation. Watching, monitoring, but not doing much. David said, hi Craig, have to say, this club, I love them, but these owners are a joke. I've said it before, and we say it again. Not getting these contracts over the line will kill us, and the situation is awful. I agree. But you know what really angers me, David, is that we keep getting told that it won't have an impact on anyone, that it won't get in their minds, that it isn't a distraction. Nobody believes that. Everybody believes that this is becoming a distraction. Now, let me just pitch something else to you now. Let's say Mohamed Salah goes through a couple of games where maybe he doesn't get on the score sheet. What do you think happens then? Then the narrative changes again in the whole situation with the contract saga, and you'll start to see stuff coming out to go, see, Liverpool may be right to hold off and give Mohamed Salah massive money because he hasn't scored in 4 weeks. So the whole thing is a joke, you're right. And I'm as frustrated by any of you on it, but I sit there every day before the stream and I think it's going to be another hard 90 minutes because I'm going to come on and have to be outspoken, and I don't like being. I'd rather come on and have a laugh with people. But we can't just keep letting this stuff go by, because like I keep saying, the more we excuse it, the more emboldened it become, and the bigger the manipulation. And I'm quite frankly just sick of it all with them. VI Joker said, how much can Arne Slot actually tolerate FSG if he doesn't start getting the support in the transfer market? Surely he can only tolerate so much. Again, I can't speak on behalf of Arne, but I don't think people are going to continue to bite their tongues over these owners, because Kloppo's left. He looks like a new man since he's left. Looks like he's 10 years younger again. I don't know, but nobody will ever convince me that our managers are happy with these owners. I know they have to say the right things publicly, but I'd love to know their genuine thoughts on them. Adam said, I don't understand how we don't have money to spend. We offered 100 or so million for Caicedo. Didn't go through. We never spent half the money after that. And we saved a load of wage in the summer. Don't forget that, Adam, on the wages. And nobody's got extension since. Like, I could sit here and go through an hour telling you why FSG are cheap. But I think you know it at this point. I don't think I need to be doing the convincing anymore. And just to go back on the money there, Adam, again, as this posted earlier on from Football Insider, Liverpool's revenue for this season is expected to be a record-breaking one, with estimates of around £700 million. We also have no PSR financial rule concerns on what we can spend. And we're one of the few clubs that can say that we have no constraints with PSR. And for me, I think if you're in that position where you have the ability to strike and the ability to spend money that others at the moment can't, why aren't you maximising on that? Why aren't you using your position of strength to leverage these players and get them in and build build for 2, 3, 4 league titles in a row. Build so that Manchester City can't get back up, or Arsenal can't find their way to a league title. Why are we sitting here? Do nothing other than hoping we stumble over the line for the league title. It's embarrassing for the owners. Jordan said FSG are all smoke and mirrors. Just the bullshit artists, mate, is what I would say. Because they've got away with it for way too long. They've lived off the good stuff that they've done that only benefits them as well. Ask yourself, when has there been one action from these owners that hasn't increased the value of the club? Genuinely. Everything they do is just to increase their asset value. End of conversation. Alisson, Van Dijk paid for by the Coutinho money. Yes, Darwin, I'll give them that one. That was a big outlay. But ultimately, we've been middle of the road spenders, but looking for top of the table results.